What's up, guys? We're gonna roll beats, and today we're gonna be making some dark melodies. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post on, you should do so because it does help it a lot. So let's hop right into it. So my BPM is 66, so we're in halftime. So regularly it would look like this, right? So you would have like your drums or your melodies on the grid like this, and keep going. But since we're halftime, you would cut that in half, and it will look like this instead. All right, so let's grab in the scale, and we're gonna be using the harmonic minor to really get that dark sound. And I'm gonna change the key to, we can just use this one, and we gotta shrink this down. And we're not gonna make a super long melody, so I'll shrink it down even more. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our first instrument. All right, so here's the instrument I'm using. So what we're gonna do is pretty much use the chord method and using our ear, because a harmonic minor can sound really bad real fast. So first thing we need to do, start with the bass notes. So we can just start on our root. And if you want to create bounce, we can just put these on the grid, right? Highlight them. You can just move them over to the, like, in this area. And this is going to automatically create bounce later. All right, we could just use this pattern and then change the notes. So let's make a chord backwards from here. And I want to make sure I'm zoomed in enough. So skip that note, skip that note. We land here. Let's see if that sounds good. All right, so now we got to change this one, and we could just go up one from there and see if that works. Okay, I like that personally. So now let's move on. So from here, what we could do, and let's just focus on this half. Now we can just create a chord from this note, right? So let's create this chord, and then let's actually move this over, move it up 2 octaves. Move this one up 1 octave, right? And you don't have to move it up 2 octaves or 1 octave, or you don't have to move it up at all. It's just what I did. And I'm gonna just shift these over and see what that sounds like. Okay, and I like that. So now on this side, and this is so hard to keep everything in, what we wanna do is use our ears. So I'm gonna just use a combo of the notes we already have. So we could like drag this over and then maybe go up. And if you want to, you could even create a chord here. And we could just drag this over, right? And when I'm dragging stuff over, that's just me kind of using like reference to see if it sounds good, right? Now we could drag this one over, maybe pull it up an octave to fill in the space, and then let's try this. All right, so now we're gonna do some variation real quick on this side. So we can go ahead, create a chord. All right, you can move this up 2 octaves. Or actually, yeah, let's just keep it up 2 octaves. Now let's see how that sounds. You can see, I told you, this scale could sound real bad real fast if you don't have certain notes in there. So now I like it. So let's see, let's go down. Let's try this note. Maybe pull this over. Well, okay, so from here, I'm gonna just copy this over. And we could just put these directly on. Okay, I like that. So that's the melody. So now we're gonna get started with our counters and everything. All right, so this is the sound I'm using for one of the counters. All right, so let's go in, and I'll probably turn this down a bit so we can hear it. So what you could simply do is just start on the root, the bass notes. All right, simply, and then we probably want to pull this up an octave because that's super low. And then we have that A, and then go back here. And then maybe we could just end it out somewhere like here. And I don't know, it's just some stuff like that, just weird stuff like that you could try. All right, now we have a lot of stuff, so we got a lot of space. So maybe right here we can kind of make like some notes to transition to here, and we can kind of, and we can go back here and find some notes to use. So we could just try this F to start. And let's turn this down even more. Okay, I like that. So you see how simple, like all this right here, it's already written for you. I just filled in the blanks, and over here, that's the only thing we did really, right? These parts, it's the only thing we really added. So it's that simple. We'll make your counter. So let's move on to the next one. All right, so here's our next sound. All right, now, so what we want to do, right, is change the timing or let things breathe, because that's a big difference with some people is they go crazy with the counters and then they be like, oh man, it's not enough room. But you can see we created room here, right? And these single notes, they kind of blend in, but you can see there's like space here, right, to work. So we can build off this one. We can say, okay, well, we need space in here, right? And in these spots, right, these dips. So we could use this, and I don't know, we could just try a note. And we need to turn this back up. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, I don't want those notes clashing, so I'm just take it out and just let like randomness kind of fill it in. So that's the second one. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so now we have this sound. And instead of making this a counter, I'm gonna actually make this like an accent. So basically, there's really no real difference, except the counters are more a part of the melody. The accents, I would say, just used throughout the beat, in my opinion. So what I'm gonna do here is, see, we could probably start on a different note. Let's try that F again, and we can kind of trickle it down. And this is usually how I use them anyway. And let's just copy this over, and we can maybe go down one. Okay, I think that sounds pretty good. So with this, I wouldn't play this throughout the entire beat. I would probably like when the verse starts or the first part of the hook, something like that, right? So that's the accent. So now we can, I don't know what we could do with this, but let's just add another sound. Here's our next sound. Now, I would say we're pretty much done here. And what I decided to do with this one is just make some chords, right? So we could use this, like these two instruments here for like a verse or something, right? So we could actually, let's go and take these bass notes, paste them in, and we just create chords from here. All right, skip every other note. All right, and then we could take the middle note and pull it up an octave. And maybe we could stretch these out a bit. You know, just some extra. All right, so those, I guess, the chords, and let's move on to the bass. All right, so let's do our bass, and we're just gonna copy our bass notes. Now I'm thinking this might be too low, so I might have to choose something else. Okay, I don't want that to be too low, so I'm gonna just use this one. And let's go ahead and do the drums. Now I went ahead and added the clap, but I want to show you, since we're in halftime, it's gonna look like this, but usually it would look something like this, right? If you're at like 140 or something, right? You can see how everything shrinks, but we're in halftime, so we have to shrink the drums down. So let's just add some kicks in. Just want to keep it simple. Let me see. And then let's add some hi-hats in here. Actually, I'm gonna just do it manually. Okay, I think that's decent for hi-hats. Move it over. So now we can play the whole beat. And that was pretty fast, actually. These kicks maybe turn down a bit. Right, and obviously it could use some mixing, but just play everything all together. And here we go. We can actually add. All right, and that's the beat. So that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully this helped out. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.